Welcome back to the Dad Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick.
And I am Dimitri.
I should not be doing this. Did you hit it again? How long is this shit?
Just push the button and it stops.
I know, but oh damn, it's long. It's almost 2 minutes long. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick this thing off. That was the most butchered intro ever, but it's gonna make for
at least we did two of them.
It's a comedic intro, I guess, at best.
Well, it's funny because you were talking so much shit last week about me pushing the buttons.
I know. And I knew it as soon as I got this. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Like, I'm going to have to push the buttons.
All right. Today we're going to talk about, so we got a comment on Spotify about essentially needing mother moments versus needing father moments. So that's going to be our topic for today.
That's right.
All right. And then we're adding in another segment today. It should be pretty brief, and we're going to do that. We're going to kick that off right now. We are
be brief.
We're definitely hunting for names to make it more fun, but today we're going to call it Weird Shit Weekly.
All right, you do the first one.
Well, are you going to read what actually happened, and then we'll just talk about it?
Well, we got to pick one now.
Oh, let's do the Woodpecker one.
All right. So, funny enough, here's the headline: Massachusetts town under siege by feathered vandal who damaged 25 cars in mating season pecking spree. I'll read you guys just the first part of the article. A frisky bird weathering mating season has taken aim at dozens of cars in Massachusetts town, leaving residents shielding their vehicles from the feathered menace's sharp beak, according to reports. Pesky 2-month mystery behind at least 25 punctured and shattered side view mirrors, which is kind of weird that he's fucking side view mirrors. Like, we're pecking.
Oh, I wonder if he thinks it's another bird.
I mean, dude, you got to be pretty fucking dumb.
Well, I mean,
it's literally, its whole thing is banging its head against shit.
When you were reading it earlier, I was curious. I was like, man, I wonder where he's like. Is he just going on the hoods? Is it like, what's going on? And then, well, it sounds like it's the mirrors.
Well, I mean, some of the mirrors, but he's also like pecking down at like people's RVs and like their windshields and shit. Like, there's this crazy.
We had one in our neighborhood, and it was going out like my neighbor across the street. They have like a metal a vent.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was going after that, and that shit was obnoxious, man.
I wonder if that's because it's loud.
What's that?
What if it's loud? Like, maybe like that's how like the females know. Like that's.
Oh, he's going for noise.
Mate, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not attracted to woodpeckers. I got what to look out for in like a suitable mate.
Not even Woody.
Not even Woody. Definitely not Woody. There's some pretty cartoons out there. Woody's not one of them.
Right on. All right. What's the next one? We got a karaoke one, right?
Yes.
This one's weird.
Woman allegedly catches herpes virus by holding karaoke mic too close to her mouth. An unnamed woman who took to Douyin. I don't know. I don't speak fucking Chinese. It's a Chinese version of TikTok, which is funny because TikTok is Chinese. It's a story of how she became infected with the HSV1 virus, which usually causes cold sores around the mouth. 8 years ago, in 2017, she visited a karaoke lounge in Zhejiang and got a bit carried away during her performance, holding the microphone much closer to her mouth than she should have.
Did you say 8 years ago?
8 years ago.
Why the hell is this even a topic from 8 years ago?
Well, I guess that's when she visited this lounge. So sometime later, tiny pestulating blisters appeared around her mouth. But although they were painful and itchy, she didn't pay too much attention to them. and they eventually went away. Only they came back a matter of days. And this time, the woman saw medical attention. And she learned that she had somehow contracted HSV1 herpes virus. I'm more so, I mean, I have to carry this virus for life. There's no medication available to treat it, the woman lamented. There's only medication to relieve the pain, but the symptoms are reoccurring, which I'm kind of like, how close, how many more people got herpes from that microphone? And where was her mouth on that microphone?
Let's just be honest. It wasn't the microphone. This is,
It wasn't a microphone.
or was it? And is this, you sent me this microphone. Is that something I have to be a little worried about?
It's from China. It's not. Only thing that microphone might have on it is cocaine because it was made in Mexico.
Okay.
So herpes or cocaine. I know what drum I'm picking.
I don't know what my preference would be. Just kidding. I definitely know what my preference would be.
It's herpes.
It's definitely not herpes. Old me, it would be cocaine, but yeah, I'd prefer to not have either of those on this microphone right now. So,
well,
all right. What's topic number 3?
So topic number 3, let's do I guess a Florida man offers a vodka spritzer to police during their car chase, which is interesting as to how would you give that to the police?
Have you ever seen The Longest Yard? The remake with Adam Sandler?
Yes.
When he gets pulled over and he hands the beers to the cops and then takes off.
Yep.
The scene's funny. That's funny, but it sounds similar. Like, to your point, is that what he did?
Dude, I can't find the fucking story.
You can't find it?
It's going to like a whole nother like thing. It's like now it says 100,000 eggs were stolen from the back of a trailer in Antrim Township, and no leads have come in. How the fuck do you steal 100,000 eggs and like nobody can find them?
Dude, that person's a millionaire because eggs are outrageously expensive.
Yep. Dude, a British man who paid more than $26,000 to replace his stolen car later finds out that he in fact bought his stolen car.
What an idiot.
What a jackass. He didn't smell it. This smells like me. Like, all right, I think I don't see this whole like dude with the spritzer thing.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We ended up hitting on 2 other topics anyways. So
Florida
the egg thief,
weird.
And it is Florida. Yeah. So sorry, Hitchcock. Yep.
All
right. Let's do Fatherhood Unscripted.
Yes, sir. Take it away.
Okay. I had nothing prepared.
All right. So I went first.
Do you have one?
I guess I don't necessarily have one, but yesterday was it was an interesting day. It was a lot of running around, but anyway, we got this game called Incoherent, and it's a family card game where you read words that are supposed to make up other words. And we sat for about an hour and a half eating Chinese food on a couch and just played the shit out of this game. And there was a moment where, so not only my little guy, Ronan, started to cry because he didn't win, like he didn't get a card. And I told him, I was like, dude, you better win as graciously as you lose and lose as graciously as you win. Like you have to have both. You can't sit here and cry because you lost. I was like, nobody cares. You lost, too bad. Doesn't matter. We're having fun. And he kind of pulled himself together. Then he was like way better, and that was a pretty cool moment. And then my daughter, there's certain times where I'm like, you're 100% my daughter. And she did like this weird, like, I don't know if she like, oh, did like one of these things. Like she did this like some weird fucking body gesture and everything that was hilarious. And I kind of lost. I couldn't stop laughing. Um, and it was seeing the innocence of them. And I told my wife, I was like, that was a really, really fun time to see us as a family enjoy and laugh instead of yell and scream and fucking punish. It was really nice. We had a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And it's a super family appropriate game.
Yeah, I mean, like, can you read that?
Guitar solo.
There you go. You fucking got that one.
Hell yeah. Now I know. Now I understand the game a little bit better.
Right, it gave you an easy one.
Dimitri sent me one yesterday, and I took a stab at it. It was a little rough. Los Angeles Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers. Boom. I'll be here all day.
That's right.
Just kidding. Don't do any more because I'm probably going to mess it up.
Do an episode of just this game.
That's cool. We like doing family games too, so we should get it. We played Monopoly we actually it's an ongoing game, and it's me and the three littles, and August he's a kind of a riot. He really loves Jackson, and so he was like trading properties for ridiculous amounts of money and then handing them to Jackson so Jackson could get start putting hotels on stuff. I'm like, dude, you don't even know what you're setting yourself up for, because you're going to land on his property and Jackson's not going to be like, you get a pass.
That's funny.
But yeah, we have we started probably like 2 months ago. That's not what my Fatherhood Unscripted moment is, but I do like doing family games sometimes. Ev really loves them, so, and it's a good time. August gets a little bit bored pretty quick, especially with a game like Monopoly. But yeah, him and I played cards one night for hours. So
my kids get angry.
Yeah, I mean, my kids get angry too. They're competitive, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But to your comment about like graciously losing and graciously winning, it's a challenge in this house as well.
You kind of graciously got to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
sorry, world.
No, you're 100% right. Like I'm a very competitive person. I've always been a very competitive person. I've played sports my whole life, and it's just who I am. And it's funny because up until the last couple of years, none of my kids played sports, but you'd see the competitiveness and stupid shit. Like, I get home and my younger two are running up the stairs to see who can give me a hug first. And then when one wins and the other one doesn't, it turns into like a situation. But
I don't want to hug anymore.
But yeah, I do like the comment you said about graciously winning and graciously losing. I think it's a very valuable lesson in life that Davis and I actually were talking about losing the other, because his team was on a really long winning streak in volleyball.
Yeah.
They probably won 6 or 7 games in a row, and they were smashing these other teams in like 2 sets, and so like they weren't even close. But prior to that, he was on a co-ed rec team, and he lost a lot. So I told him I think it's good for him, because I think you need to know what it feels like to lose, so you can enjoy those victories a little bit more.
I agree.
All right. So my Fatherhood Unscripted moment, I actually had it. It just kind of, I had a little brain fart. I had thought about it yesterday which is typically what I do. I'll kind of like run through today in my head a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so Evelyn, my youngest biological kid, a she's a really, really hard worker, and she's a really hard worker when it comes to school specifically. I would say not so much at home, but at school, she doesn't want to let anybody down, whether it's her teachers or her parents. And I think some of it's just herself.
Wow.
Um, so she will just randomly, like unprompted, and she'll just start doing tons of math. She's trying to get really, really good at math.
That's awesome.
Um, so she didn't have school on Friday, and a guy from work had loaned her his tablet when he's got the pen that you can write on it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, you can draw." And she didn't draw. She actually just started writing out math questions, and she started doing math. And she does like drawing, and she does stuff like that. But yeah, she was more interested in just doing a bunch of math. So I just kind of wanted to say it was, it's kind of a proud dad moment of her, just trying to be really, really good at math. So
Yeah.
yep.
It's kind of, yeah. I mean, I think those are like kind of cool moments too, when it's not just that, like they take on just like the aura of somebody that is like a monk or something, and they're just trying to, instead of finding God, they're trying to find the best version of themselves, or just fucking being kids, like doing math. Like, I don't think there's a lot of kids that like do math or like grab a book or just like start writing an essay. Like, okay. Like, do you want some chips? Take some algebra, actually.
Yeah. All my kids it's kind of a weird situation. They just didn't have, like, when they started school, they were way behind, at the beginning, and Ev was having some like speech issues. And so like we got her to an IEP program, and I was like, I was a little concerned, but I wasn't concerned. Like, I knew everything was okay with her. She just didn't enunciate words very well and was struggling with some reading and writing. But, she's 3 years into grade school now, and her hard work, I'm not even concerned about her anymore. Like,
Oh,
she's it's impressive, and it's funny when you go to parent teacher conferences, to hear the positivity that come from the other teachers about Evelyn specifically, because she's a really good friend. She doesn't mess around with like the drama. Like, if there's some drama between friends, like, she either takes herself out of it or she tries to kibosh it, which is a pretty powerful thing for a 10-year-old girl.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, she's a really good student. So,
Nice, man. Oh, cool.
all right. Well, let's talk about the topic today. So we got on Spotify, somebody had wrote in the comment section about I need mother versus I need father, and like how those moments are handled. There was definitely a pretty long description put in there. But yeah, let's
I guess let's start off strong, and just to kind of put this out there, I feel like I need to find this to be able to put it out there, because now it's hiding itself on me. So let's do this.
So we pulled a little bit of data from the internet. I didn't actually do a deep dive, but I can't read it.
Are you even seeing it?
I can see it just fine. I can't read it very well without like getting super close. So I don't know if you want to talk about it, and then we can
Yeah.
just.
So yeah, this is so pretty much our episode this week is going to be kind of how fathers and mothers and their kids kind of need different, um, I guess, need different parents at different times. And this graph just kind of shows mothers and fathers have different views of who does more when it comes to many childcare tasks. So, managing their children's schedule and activities. This is going to be more so in the mother's realm, 78% versus 54. Providing comfort and emotional support to their children, mothers are in the lead again. Which I don't know. I don't think
We
I
need to pick. We need to pick this shit up, Dimitri.
I don't agree with that though. Disciplining their children, they're saying that's equal. I don't know about that. And then helping their children with homework or other school assignments, mothers and fathers, they're goddamn, dude.
We
30,
just got smoked.
64. Yeah. I mean, what are these blue? Father does more, mother does more. Wow.
So let's just go. Let's go line by line.
What? I don't think this is accurate.
Well, you got to understand what you and I are in two different situations, right? Like you're a stay-at-home dad that works, so you probably have more of the. You just have a different insight than this typical person. I mean, I can tell you right now, managing their schedule and activities. When I was married,
Yeah.
I was probably close to zero.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, my ex-wife did all of that stuff. She stayed at home, she didn't work, and so that was the relationship we have. Now that we're older, I think it's probably 50-50 between her and I. In our house, Deanne does a lot of that stuff, so like she's a huge reason why. But like, I'm trying to think. So like Davis, as the kids get older in age,
Yeah.
I think that I tend to get more involved. As weird as
easier.
that is.
No, I think it's easier as they get older.
Because like I helped Logan take care of all of his, like get him his job, take care of all of his driver's license stuff. But my ex-wife helped get him down to New Mexico for college. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty even split between her and I.
Different realms.
Yeah, yeah. And then Deanne and I's, I would say overall, Deanne she's probably in the lead, but like she kind of does her kids more than my kid. Well, no, she pretty much 100% on her kids. If Raina needs to be picked up, I may pick Raina up, but Deanne usually coordinates it. So yeah, so yeah. What's your perspective? Because obviously your situation is different.
Let's see. Are we kind of touching on schedule and activities? I think that so this is one that I would say it kind of depends. Like, so as far as like my wife, when you talk about like doctor's appointments and like knowing their social security like numbers and shit and remembering their birthdays, that's all her. Like,
you don't know your kids' birthdays, Dimitri?
I do have to count it out though.
Okay, all right.
Like it's so the thing is, and like it's I want to say like I kind of like felt bad, but then I also realized that that's just who I am. Like I'm not like I'll be there for you no matter what. But if you get mad at me because I don't remember like a certain date, like we just had our 10-year anniversary, and I'm like, dude, we fucking forgot every single year. Like there hasn't been one year where like, oh hey, by the way, things are coming up. But my wife definitely does more of the scheduling for doctors, school stuff, and being stay home and like working remote. there's definitely some things that I'm more, I guess, things that are more important on my end. So like education, and like I'll my daughter, I would also always force her to do like an hour or two of like ABC Mouse before she started kindergarten. So when I first started working remote, she would come up and I'd say, "You got to sit down and we got to go through this." Like, I don't want to do well. For me, like I thought that was super valuable. And my wife did her own way of like make sure that their teacher that they're learning and engaging in their own ways. So I think that both parents definitely have a decent amount to do. I do believe that the mothers probably do a bit more with the scheduling and activities aspect of it.
Yeah, now that you said that too, I wasn't even taking into consideration dentist I'm so the dentist is like a half a mile from my house, so I do almost all the dentist appointments, and
Yeah.
then the doctor is also pretty close, so I do a lot of the doctor appointments too. So, but I still think between my ex-wife and me, we're 50-50. I was going to ask you, so if Emily schedules a doctor or dentist appointment because you work from home, are you the one that ends up taking them?
No, because we only have one vehicle.
Oh,
You got to schedule them around her time off.
got
Um,
it, got it. So she ends up taking them.
yeah. I mean,
Okay, so yeah, you don't do shit then.
no. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. So,
I'm
like,
just kidding.
well, like 5 years ago, I don't know if it was some time ago. I had to schedule myself a doctor's appointment. Well, that didn't go over too well because I scheduled my doctor's appointment at a fucking pediatric office. No, no joke. No joke. And mind you, I'm 6'2". I think I was like 280 at the time. I walk in there with no kid or anything. There's fucking dinosaurs on the walls around me. And I'm like, "Hey, I have an appointment." And the lady looks at me like she's just, she like, I think she was trying not to chuckle. And I was like, am I in the right place? And she's like, "Are you Dimitri?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, you're in the right place." I was like, is this like like a children's doctor?" She's like, "It is. This is like family, so like everybody can come here." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's like mostly kids." There's a kid playing with fucking toy cars next to me. I'm like, "This is not." I walk back there, and my doctor is this Asian dude, and he's like 4'8", like tiny. And I'm sitting. He tells me to sit on the table, like most doctors do. And mind you, when I'm sitting on a table, he's up to like my kneecaps. And he's like, "Hey man, how can I help you?" And I was like, "I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't think I'm ever scheduling a doctor's appointment again." He's like, "Do you have a primary care?" And I was like, "I have no idea." I was like, "You're asking me questions I don't even know the answers to." It's like, this makes no sense to me. I was like, "Do you ever see like grown men?" He's like, "No." They did the thing, they're tapping on your like knee, and he's like being jealous. And I was like, "Dude, you got to hit that thing a little harder." I was like, "I'm a big dude, like really go at it." I ask him about like testosterone levels and shit, and he's like, "Man, I don't know. Like, do you want a lollipop?" Like, fuck you, dude. Anyway, so yeah, I don't schedule doctor's appointments, especially for myself.
Did you take did you take a lollipop?
I think I did.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds
No,
about
I
right.
did, and my wife thought it was hilarious when I told her that I went to a children's doctor.
I wasn't honestly, man, I wasn't much different than you when I was married. Like I said, I didn't do any of that stuff. So I learned once I got divorced is that I like learned that I better figure some of this shit out or else I'm gonna I'm gonna die or one of my kids is gonna die because I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Dude, I didn't cook. I didn't even cook prior to that. Now, I do a ton of cooking. Deanne does a lot of cooking, but I do like a lot of the weekend cooking just to kind of give her a break. So,
Okay,
all right, cool. Let's go to the next one. Providing comfort or emotional support to their children.
that's right. I will say that. Ooh, who does more?
Yep. I already know the answer to you.
Well, okay, you might, but
I'm just kidding.
so
I
emotional
don't really know.
support and comfort, I guess it is mothers. Like that's the truth. How do I feel about it? I think my comfort, my emotional support is not like
It's not up to par to your kids' standards.
not a mother's kind of comfort and support. Like my level of comfort and support is, why are you crying? Oh, because you can't find your toy. Stop crying and go find it. Like, because it comes more of a like reality kind of realm. Well, actually, I think I've rubbed off on my wife a lot. Like, I think she was a lot more loving and nurturing when we first met. Like, now I think
Well, you know what? It's funny that you said that because I've noticed a change in my ex-wife because like I think these next two kind of go hand in hand a little bit,
yeah,
discipline and the comfort.
yeah,
So, but to your point, I was the same way, right? Like I was like, rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine.
mm-hmm.
Like that's just how I did things, and then I was in charge of all the disciplining. Now, as the kids have gotten older, I actually think my ex-wife is harder on my kids than I am, and I'm trying to be more like more supportive, not like I'm trying to teach the kid the lesson of like, let's learn from this so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And, I'm not disappointed in you, but let's not do this again.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Yeah.
this was a mistake that you just learned, and let's move on. And
How do you
I
feel,
think,
Jackson?
what's that?
So go, finish your thought.
Well, and I think it's a valuable way for kids to grow. And it's
Mhm.
kind of crazy because I never did things like that before. Like, don't do that because I told you to doesn't resonate the same as don't do that because this was the result and you don't want that same result again.
Yeah,
And then they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. That sucked. So let's do it a different way.
exactly. So I was going to ask you, so how do you feel about accidents? When does it stop being an accident?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. We actually had a situation happen this week with August, and I'm trying to think specifically what it was, but I remember that was his response was like that I didn't mean to do that. And then I kind of looked and I was like, man, I think you know exactly what you were doing when you did that. But, you are 8. So like I think 8 is probably a good, cuz Ellie's 9, right? Ellie's right in between August
She's
and
8. She's about,
oh,
she's,
she's 8.
yeah.
She's about to be 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's right in the middle of August and Evelyn. Um, I would say Evelyn doesn't have those situations anymore. So 10. So, Ellie's got to be close to getting at that age where that shit was probably intentional
What
and
do
you
you
knew
think?
what you were doing.
Yeah, but well, yeah. And do you and your ex-wife and you and Deanne have like similar like connections where it's like, hey, no, that's not a fucking accident. And she's like she might comfort them a little bit more and be like, oh, it's okay. And it's like pulling teeth to say, no, that's third fucking accident today.
I mean, I would say with Deanne and August for sure, just because, it's her youngest and it's that boy girl relationship that
Yeah.
she's never had because he's her only boy. Um, so I think that she's definitely a little bit more forgiving and a little bit more. I don't want to use the word babying, but she's just a little bit more loving with him.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, for me, like he's my fourth boy at this point. I know what the fuck's going on. Like I know what you guys are up to.
Yep. Well, we had so our talk about boy girl. So my wife and our 16-year-old, I was always very uh And I guess maybe this goes into like emotional support and like discipline because, and I think maybe I was a little bit tougher on him too, but I think I just see through more of the bullshit than like maybe my wife does in a moment. But I used to be like, yo, you can't.
What do we got going on?
Cereal time. Is that loud?
I don't know if loud's the right. I heard it.
Yeah. Well, so he just
Let's see some real life discipline right now. Let's do it.
Real life discipline, huh?
Yep. We got disruption going on. Let's cut Dimitri loose.
We really got to stop being so loud with that bag of cereal. Do you understand? Oh my God. This is ridiculous.
How's that for discipline?
That was awesome. Well played.
Well played. Well, so my son would always like he would do stuff to manipulate my wife, and just like knowing that mommy's gonna be there, I was like, oh, mom's gonna come to my rescue, and I'm like there, like in the shadows, like no. Like we were driving one day, and he was starting shit in the back seat, and my wife was like started yelling at the other two. I'm like, no. Like, there's no way. Like he was starting shit, and he's gonna have to deal with it. And he would keep. When my wife's around, he starts to huff and puff like crazy. Like I don't even know how to describe it. and then like my wife will see that, and then look at me like I'm being an asshole. When in reality, I'm like, I know what you're doing, dude. Like, I know what you got going on.
Seriously, with the cereal again. It's so loud.
It's just wild. Like, so how do you handle that? Like, do you notice that your boys maybe would their reaction around you is going to be different around your ex-wife or Deanne, which in turn changes how the discipline and emotional support work in those situations?
I mean, it's really hard to like go back and remember back when I was married. I will tell you that Logan used to have similar like tantrums like that. Like when when Logan wasn't good, he didn't need to say anything for you to know he wasn't good. Like you could see by the way, like I'll just give you a scenario because it's definitely happened. Like if something happened and he was upset and he was making dinner, he was doing what your kids are doing right now with the cereal. Everything was louder. It was super clunky, like slamming stuff down. Like it was always extremely obvious. And I would ask questions to try to get the answer. And a lot of time he would like lock up or wouldn't. And then finally you just got to break that barrier to get like him to open up a little bit. And yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't had to outside of August. I haven't had to discipline kids for a while. Cause usually most of that, is a one-time conversation and a let's learn from it. I think August is a little bit different. And, you know, every day we're learning like just how to handle his,
Well, and he's different too.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like it's he's the youngest. He's also autistic. And he's growing, we're growing, but there's still a lot of like learning that's happening.
Right. I was definitely listening. Yeah, I think learning. I guess like you have to learn how to discipline accordingly, and I guess each kid is a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
Like this one right now.
Is it Ian?
No.
Oh, Ellie. Yeah. and I'll say this, like when we were, or when I was younger, first starting, I was the one that always did the discipline, and I always felt like it was my ex-wife just never wanted to be the bad guy. And I don't know if that's really the case or not, because like I said, she's definitely changed, because she's almost harder on, she's at least harder, I think, on the older boys.
Yeah.
Maybe not the younger two, but the younger two are overall are just, they're pretty good kids. Like they're pretty low drama, no fit, like other than them fighting with each other. It's pretty low key, but yeah.
All in all, good kids.
What's that?
All in all, the kids are good.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay.
All right.
Who do you? So give me a black and white answer. Who do you think provides comfort and emotional support to their children more, fathers or mothers?
I mean, it's definitely mothers. I just think that I'm more split now than I used to be.
Well, you're doing it, Dimitri. And I asked you a black and white question.
You said who's more? I said it's definitely mothers. That's not a fucking black and white answer, Dimitri.
Tangent, dude. This is unacceptable. All right. Disciplining their children.
I think it's fathers.
All right. Who are we gonna discipline for your hat?
What?
Why does that Bronco look so fucking wild, dude?
It's
what's
that?
Is that an additional leg, or is that its
a leg, dude? Come on,
clean
it up here.
I can't.
You're cutting in and out.
Am I really? Like too much?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's my volume. How about that? That seems better.
It's got to be your internet. You're fine now. But yeah, it's an old. It's a throwback logo.
Oh, I like it though. I was just talking shit.
Yeah, I know.
So I have a question about the next one.
Okay.
And it's homework and other school activities. And other school assignments. Mothers. Well, yeah. See, for all of these, it says it's like mothers does more.
They're crushing it.
No, I think it's mothers think they do more, actually.
Well, when it that's fucked up. It goes back to what I was talking about last week when I interview people, and a lot of people say that the fathers are the role models, and it was surprising. And we had somebody comment on it on the page, and I understood where he was coming from, or he or she was coming from. But I guess my whole thing is that like a lot of times I feel like the mothers are the glue to the family.
Yeah.
Right. Like they keep everything together, even if they weren't, they weren't allowed to work and they weren't allowed to do all of that stuff back in the day. Like, I can just tell you that if my grandma wasn't around, my family would have been bad.
Yeah.
But going back to the point of what the guy said, like I picked more of my grandfather as a role model than my grandma. After he wrote that comment, I apologize. I keep saying I think he referred to himself as a him. So I think it was a he.
It was a guy. I think
it was a guy. Anyways, I started thinking about it. And my grandmother, she was a role model for me because of how she treated everybody else and how she catered to everybody else. She was amazing. If you wanted something, like you walk in the door and she's like, "Are you hungry?" And then next thing you know, like, "I'm a little hungry." And she's like, "Well, this is what I got. We got this, this, and this, or I will make you something." And like she sacrificed herself to take care of everybody else. And she had 7 kids, which led to, I don't even know how many fucking grandkids, but I got like 638 cousins or some crazy shit like that. I'm exaggerating. But yeah, she took care of me just like she would have taken care of, one of my aunts or my mom or one of my uncles. So she was a role model. And I kind of feel like a shithead for not even bringing it up, because she was this super sweet person that I loved, and when she passed, it affected me pretty bad for a while. So anyways, sorry, we sidetracked a little bit, but we really didn't, because it goes back to the initial conversation. I think moms don't get a lot of credit, and then on here they're getting all the credit. So it's kind of just this, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, and I think the point that you just made about grandma, though, touches base back down to the very last point of, like, feeding, bathing, changing diapers, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think it's pretty. Yeah, I think mothers are just really good at that. Like, that whole, like, hey, you're hungry, like, I'll make you whatever you want, and especially I think grandparents more so, because they've already been through being a parent. And I think once your kids finally grow up and they're out of the house, a lot of you kind of miss a lot of that. And maybe that's why you have such a, like, engaged presence as a grandparent is what I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't have any grandkids yet, but I definitely think once I'm not so much stressed about my kids, like, I'm gonna spoil the shit out of my grandkids. My kids be like, Dad, you never did that for me. I'm like, yeah, well, sucks to be you.
Well, it's maturity too. It's maturity. It's like the lack of you don't have to be the bad guy, right? Like, my mom doesn't have to be the bad guy with my kids, because she knows that that's my job. So she gets to be the one that has all the fun with them. And I don't mean that in a bad way. My mom helped when after I went through my divorce. My mom helped with. She did help with some of that discipline and stuff. And I wouldn't say it was like a substantial amount, but yeah, you see it with grandparents. I think that's what it is with grandparents. It's they don't need to do the bad stuff, and they get to enjoy the good times.
Yeah, that makes sense. How about homework?
So my house is pretty unique. When I was first with my ex-wife, she is very good at reading and English. And I am very good at math. So that made it a very simple, if they needed help with this, it was her. And if they needed help with this, it was me. What's that?
How did it go? Like, can you give me the, how you would deal with the homework, and how your wife would deal with that time? Like, what is there? Were you more patient, or was she more patient?
I would say that I'm pretty patient. I say I'm impatient with the new math that's being taught versus the way that I learned. That's harder. So I am a F the system type of guy. So I was teaching my kids the way that I learn math, which I think is the easy and the right way to learn math. And I think, what's that?
Were they mad at you because they're like, this isn't how we're learning it in school?
No, I don't think they were mad. I think it's just an easier way to learn. I couldn't even tell you what the other way was, but when they started talking to me, I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. And so I would teach him my way. Like, Davis is a very strong math. Like, he's got a very good math brain. And like Davis his math has excelled further than mine in school. Like, once we started adding letters into math, I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I know numbers. I told you I'm not good at reading and writing, and now we're adding all these letters in here. I'm like, nah, this isn't gonna work. But Davis is he's good at he actually helped. I don't know if Logan wants me to share this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I love you, Logan. But he helped Logan last year, and I don't remember the class specifically, but it was like an advanced math class, and I think Davis was helping him. But Logan got all the writing, right? That's what he's in college for, and that's what he's good at. but Logan's good at basic math, just like me. So I definitely Dimitri did it and kind of went off the topic a little bit, but I would think overall, we both probably had a little bit of patience. I think math is the most brought home homework though, so I think I ended up doing more of the work. Like there's not a lot, I guess, at the very, very early stages when you're learning letters and stuff, but that's all easy stuff that I could also help with. And I do recall doing stuff like that with the older boys.
That's fair. We did. So when my son initially, when he brought home math homework, and we talked about this new way of doing math and like the normal way that like kind of we learned. And it's funny because I used to think that this was just, I was like, this has got to be like my wife's like stubbornness in him. And my daughter's the same way, but they're like, no, this is how we're supposed to do it. And I'm like, dude, fuck your way because it's wrong. You're going to do it this way. And like, dude, my wife used to get so mad because I would sit there for like an hour and a half, you know, after the kids done school, and we go through math. And like, he would cry, and I would be like, wipe your tears, sunshine. Time to get at it. And I wouldn't like, I think I was pretty like stubborn and strict with that as well. But it was more so because he had an issue with it. You need to figure it out, and the only way to get better and to get more confidence in yourself is to go through the growing pains of sucking at it. And like, you suck at it right now. Like, I was straight up telling my kids like, hey, does this look good? No. And like, some people might look at that as kind of not very nice, and I love my kids to death, and I want them to grow up confident on the facts of themselves, not have a false sense of reality and having people butter them up. When my kids do something great, I'll tell them, you know, you are absolutely killing it. And if you bring me a picture that looks, you know, you're 10 years old or 8 years old and it looks like somebody that was two drew it, I'm going to tell you that sucks. Might hurt your feelings, but daddy still loves you. Anyway, my wife would just not be okay with the amount of time that I took to do math with our oldest. But now dude, all the extra time, like same with like reading that I made him do, he's doing so much better in school because of it. And it's not me taking credit because there's a lot of hard work that he had to put in. But I feel like you kind of have to force your kids to do those things to get them to get through their homework. Like, it's hard. You might not like it. Oh, but I answered this one right. Okay, now answer this one wrong. Then you don't understand it.
Is he a sophomore?
Yes.
Got it. That's a tough, I feel like freshman and sophomore were pretty tough for my older two boys. And then they hit their junior year and they just kind of they change. So if he's already changing, that's a pretty good sign, I think.
Oh, he's outstanding. Dude, his biggest issue was the beginning of math. Like, this is like when he was, I guess, like my daughter's age until like he was like 10 or 11. Like you said, once they get to a certain level of math, like, I did not give a shit about school, which was a mistake. So now my kids don't have that option. They have to give a shit. And like I said, talk about letters and all this other shit that they're bringing in. I'll figure it out.
Well, sorry. So I didn't mean my kids from an educational standpoint were always like, they understood that stuff. It was they didn't do the fucking work. That was the problem we had. Like, they were just being lazy, and I was not okay with that. And that was their freshman year. They both sucked. Sophomore year, Davis was not. He was getting better, but not great. And then Logan was kind of in the same boat. And then for whatever reason, their junior year, they just kind of changed.
Gotcha.
So. All right, dude. Well, for the sake of time, let's get this wrapped up. Anything else you want to share on it? Do you feel?
You know, I guess there's not much else that I have to to share. I will say I do think that mothers and fathers both have their important roles. Think that a daughter is going to go to her mother when it comes to, wondering about what happens when you're on your period. And I've been asked that question. I tell, go talk to your mom. I have no fucking clue. Boys might come to dad and dude, I don't know. Like maybe boys don't go to their dads. Like maybe
Cars,
yeah, I guess cars and like trucks.
cars, sports.
Sure. Like I guess my kids all come to me with like tech problems.
Yeah, you're pretty techie. I come to you with tech problems too.
Yeah, but when they come for like emotional support, they fucking try to run from me and find my wife as quickly as possible.
Well, I'm not a car guy, but I have a lot of when I was a teenager, a lot of my friends were like mechanics and stuff. They were like, that was what they were into. I was always into sports. So I was always around them and I learned to change oil and I learned how to change a battery. And so the basic stuff I could always help my kids with, changing a tire. Like I said, just the basic stuff. But to your point, I don't have to deal with it right now because Evelyn's not on her period yet. Thank God. But once she gets to that point, Amanda and my ex and I have already chatted about, that's on her. Cause to your point, I don't know shit about that.
That's right. We have no clue.
I think the one thing that I wish that I was better at, and I could still get better at, is like Evelyn's hair, like learning to braid. And I wish that you do.
Yeah.
I think it's a super strong dad move to know how to do that stuff. And I just like when she was younger, I was just like, not my problem. You know what I'm saying? Like Amanda's going to take care of it. So that's something I just wish I was a little bit better at.
Braiding hair.
Yeah. But like driving, like Raina and I've kind of talked about this quite a bit. And she might end up going to a driving school, but Deanne's like flat out said that she just doesn't think she wants to try to teach Raina how to drive. And she didn't mean that in a bad way, but Deanne's a very nervous passenger already. Like even with me in the car. So she's like, I just don't know if I could do it. But like I've done it twice now. So like by the third time rolls around, should be, and Raina and I've gone out a couple times. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's something where I can shine a little bit.
Well, stir the pot. Deanne, are you a good driver or is Patrick a better driver?
Wow. You're gonna ruin my fucking Sunday with this shit. No, she's not a bad driver at all. I'd say she's a little bit more aggressive than me, but she's not a bad driver. She's just
like angry aggressive or like
she's a bad passenger.
Yeah.
She gets worried about everything, and when she's driving, she's in control of all of that. So it just changes. She can't look at her phone. She can't do any of that stuff when she's a passenger. Yeah. So like almost every time we go somewhere, she drives.
Really? See, now I'm the opposite. I drive everywhere.
Well, that's how it used to be for me, and I was, I'm totally fine with it. But yeah, she drives. I'm an all right passenger. I can chill.
That's fair. Well, like you said, I guess we'll kind of start wrapping things up a little bit. Hope you guys in the comments kind of try to answer these questions for yourselves and let us know where you stand. Are mothers and fathers different in the way that they discipline, whether it's homework, or are we different in the way that we provide emotional support, guidance, clarity, whatever it is? Give us your hot takes.
That's right. All right, you ready? You ready for the final question?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, so this is a 2-part question. Do you have a bucket list? And if you say no, it's going to really fuck up the second question. So you need to actually say yes. But have you Do you have an actual bucket list, or do you, like?
Yes.
Okay. What is the top item on your bucket list, and why?
The top item is it's travel. It's going back to Russia and going back to where I was born and walking through it all as an adult. Um, and my brother-in-law actually brought something up like years and years and years ago. I'm sure he'll still remember if he listens to the podcast, but there was a race. It was a car race where you get a car, you build it up, and then you take it from the one side of the Asian continent, and I think you drive it all the way across Russia into please stop, Ellie. To like the other side, I think like towards Europe. I don't know where it ended exactly, but you drive it all the way across, and it like I thought we joked around and we're like, dude, we got to do that. That I think that would be the coolest thing because I love my brother-in-law, man. He is the coolest dude, and he's a car guy. He knows all there is to know about cars, and I think we would both have a hell of a time. So that would be my number one: visiting where I was born and uh, kind of learning. I guess not even learning, dude. Just going back to like the roots and seeing how life is over there in the reality, but not the internet side. Um, and then traveling across the continent with my brother-in-law.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. That's a good one. I don't have like a road out bucket list by any means. There's a couple things that are pretty big on it though. One of them I'm actively working on, and that's watching the Denver Broncos play at every NFL stadium. I am currently, I think it's like 27 total stadiums outside of Denver.
Live. You're saying live.
Yeah, live. Yep. And it has to be the Broncos. So, I'm 3 out of 27, so I gotta definitely have a long ways to go. But that's probably the number one thing. The other thing I want to do that's just on my bucket list, and it's more of a financial thing, and not with the intentions of winning it, but just to say that I did it. But I want to play in the World Series of Poker.
Yeah.
I figured that's probably something closer to like my retirement age, that it would be cool to just go sit down and play with some like real pros.
Poker's fun.
Yeah, I love poker. It's always just been a fun hobby. I think I used to be a lot better at it than I am now. I don't know why I got shitty, but I do enjoy it. I enjoy the math part of it. I enjoy the people aspect of it. So yeah, those are the two for me.
So you're a fucking card counter.
I am not a card counter. I am not.
I don't know what math you're talking about. We're talking about statistics and the likelihoods of things coming up. Fucking count the cards.
No, sir.
That's fair. I want to say one funny story.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's that funny, but it was kind of funny to me. So yesterday we're dropping off. We're going to pick up my wife, and she's got a coworker. God damn, I forget the dude's name, but he's hilarious. And Ronan's talking to him, and we're like talking about video games. He's talking about Spider-Man 2 and like beating up bad guys. And then he's like, "I'm gonna tell you another secret. I'm gonna tell you another secret." And the guy's like, "What? What other secret like might you actually have for me?" And
My dad, he has a Chinese girlfriend.
I'm like, dude, I like definitely don't have any Chinese girlfriend or anything.
He said that?
Yeah. And the dude's like laughing, cracking up. And my son looks at me, he's like,
Dad, yeah, you definitely do, Dad. Dad, you definitely do. Like, that's not, you know you do. Like, Dad wants a Chinese girlfriend, and he has one.
and so we're walking away. I'm like, dude, you can't be saying like stuff like that. Like, that's like, why are you even saying this? And like, I think they must have like overheard when I was like talking about the podcast and like having it like a Japanese like masseuse. But
It's funny. That's kind of what stuck out to me when you first said that. So I thought that might have been what it was, but
that's what it was like stuck in his head, and like he wouldn't let it go. And like we're in a store, and he's screaming it, like laughing hysterically that his dad has a fucking Chinese girl. I'm like, dude, this is not fucking happening.
that's awesome. That's awesome. That's a good story. It's a good story.
I'm terrified when he goes to school and he starts telling his teacher all these random stories. Like, I am not looking forward to the phone calls.
Right.
So,
all right. Can you do our outro so I don't butcher it this time? But first and foremost, like, follow, subscribe, comment, and thank you for the support.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again to the Dad Compass podcast. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you being here and enjoying us. And man, I really hope that you guys appreciate how wonderful our sound is today. Like Patrick said, like, comment, subscribe, answer the questions. What's on your bucket list? And we'll see you guys next week. Oh, bless you.
Where did that come from?